Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to the first project update of 2020. It is January 6th, and we are opening with this week's project calendar. On Wednesday, January 8th, we have the Homebrew Website Club. Homebrew Website Club is a growing worldwide network of meetups for everyone who wants to take back their web experience from the social media silos and own their online identities, content, and interactions. Homebrew Website Club is happening Wednesday in Nottingham, Austin, and San Francisco. You can see the links in the wiki for details and RSVPs. Next week, January 16th, on Wednesday, we have the return of the ET Speaker Series, where the topic will be social media and well-being, moving beyond active versus passive activities with Nicole Ellison. Professor Ellison of the University of Michigan will discuss her research, including her work into the non-click, where people intentionally and thoughtfully withhold from clicking on content they do pay close attention to. The research shows that non-clicked content is often imported into other channels, where it serves as a stronger signal of relational investment than one-click likes do. Again, that's Wednesday, January 16th, the return of the ET Speaker Series. In the wiki, though I won't go through each of them, we also have a section for later events and available tickets. These are things that are happening beyond a week out. You can see there are complimentary tickets to several events and a list of Mozilla-sponsored developer events that you may be interested in attending this year. With that, we move to our speakers section, and our first presenter today is David Bryant with the Emerging Technologies Weekly Update. Let me get your tab up, David. Here you are.
Thanks, Asa. Hello, everyone. Happy New Year. Fairly quiet in ET, what with the holidays and all, but a couple of things to report in sort of the continuing end of the year, where did things wind up sort of sense. You may recall when we launched Web Things Gateway 0.10 in November of last year, one of the new features was localization support, and we've talked a little bit about how we'd had some pieces contributed locale support even before we got the release out the door. Sort of another important step in that work is getting the gateway integrated into Pontoon, our community-based localization system that we use for Firefox, as a project. And so that's actually happened now. There's a link here in the notes, or you can just go to Pontoon and find it yourself. But you will see now showed up on the dashboard there in Pontoon the status of localizations happening in 25 now across different localization teams in the communities, which is great. We have 10 so far, just since we got that hooked up, available either before or during. And you can tell from the status of the dashboard, there's a bunch of work happening. I suspect more will be coming over the next coming weeks, and we'll see. So thanks everyone who has contributed informally before and is now helping us in contributing to bringing the Gateway user experience to many languages worldwide as part of the integration with Pontoon. Another thing we talked about last year that we've been working on is getting more and better training data sets for our speech work. There's a lot of data out there, but it's just not usable as training data. And the key piece that you need is you need not only the audio part, but you need a transcript or the words, and they need to be aligned so that you can compare the audio with the actual text in whatever language in order to produce a viable training data set. There are a lot of unaligned data sets. So for example, if any of you like to listen to audiobooks, there is a clear example of a case where there is real data and there's speech, and if we could just figure out how to do something with it, we'd have a lot more training data than we would otherwise. We built a tool called the Aligner, cleverly enough, that actually aligns the audio from the audiobook with the transcript from the actual source material. And one of the great things about that is they're open source or openly available audiobook data sets. One of them is called LibriVox, and there's 70,000 hours of English data available, which maybe wouldn't be a surprise, but there's actually more than 1,000 hours in 5 other languages. And so we've started using and testing the Aligner on those LibriVox open audiobook data sets to begin to build training data sets that we can use not only for English, which is what we're working on now, and we're up to 10,000 hours of the 70,000 there by the end of the year, but also can use the same tool and the same data sets on French, Dutch, Spanish, and German. And so we expect to continue that work, so there's good progress there. And the more, obviously, the more open training data sets, the more open models, the more language support, And that will be great. And in fact, that leads to the last item here, which is a nice article in the French weekly news magazine L'Express about the importance of our work. We like seeing when news outlets pick up the value of the common voice and deep speech work. And this was a good article that highlighted the value, especially to, from a language diversity perspective, for languages that are maybe not widely spoken or even in some cases at risk of disappearing from currency at all. And the tools that we provide are useful to those communities. So a good article that highlighted some of that based on an interview with Alex Lissy from our deep speech team. So anyway, that's last bits of year end, and I guess for next week we'll have some new news from ET, but thanks.
Thank you, David Bryan. Exciting update. Next up, we have me coming to you with your Firefox weekly update. Firefox 71 is our current stable release, but not for long. Firefox 72 is in the beta channel as the final release candidate. 72 goes out to our stable channel tomorrow, January 7th. So be on the lookout for that update. Firefox 73/74 is in the nightly channel. Today is merge day. As of about an hour ago, the soft freeze has ended for 73 and development has opened for 74. So I guess we're now on nightly 74, though we don't yet have the first nightly builds for 74. 73 will hit our stable release on February 11th. Over the last 3 weeks, catching you up on what's happened while we were out, there have been about 650 bugs resolved as fixed, including these notable changes. Global default zoom has landed. This allows you to set a single zoom preference and have it apply to all web pages so that you don't have to zoom up each individual web page or zoom down whatever your preference may be. Site-specific zoom will still work and be held per page. So if you set your global default zoom to say 120%, all pages will be zoomed up to 120. You can still zoom up or zoom down any individual page and that will be remembered. The tab overflow menu, which used to only appear when you had more tabs than fit in the tab strip, can now be made permanent with an about config flag listed in the notes here. In this configuration, it's called the tab manager. In DevTools, the Omniscient Browser Toolbox has been enabled by default. I brought this up a little while ago when the feature landed. It's now on by default, no longer requiring an about config pref. This should allow you to inspect and debug any resources of Firefox, no matter which thread or process that resource is in. The Accounts menu has seen an update. Several items in that menu have been renamed to increase clarity. About Crashes now has a Submit All Crashes button, so you don't have to go down and click Submit Crash for each report. Firefox now has a high contrast mode on GTK, bringing it up to speed with Windows, which is a really nice addition. Media Control Key event on OS X has been enabled in nightly. And last but not least, Firefox now has a second DNS over HTTPS provider, NextDNS. You can see this as an alternative to Cloudflare in the Firefox preferences. And that is it for this week's Firefox update. I'm going to reload the agenda to see if anyone else has come on with updates. It doesn't look like it. And so with that, we move into the closing section of our meeting where we say hello to some new Mozillians. Our first introduction comes to us via Buffalo, New York. Dave, you have an introduction for us.
Yes, hi, can you see me? I'll just assume yes. I am Dave Parfit from the Marketing, Engineering, and Operations Cloud team. I'm very excited to introduce Alan Alexander, who will be joining us from Portland as a Senior Site Reliability Engineer. Alan will be working on the global cloud infrastructure for Mozilla.org, snippets, and other critical marketing services. Welcome, Alan.
Welcome, Alan. Next up, coming to us from Toronto, Stefan has an introduction.
Hello, everyone. My name is Stefan Arends. I'm very excited to introduce Jeremy Evans today, who will be joining us on the mobile team. Jeremy comes from a long mobile background, lastly at CBC and Kobo, and is joining us as an engineering manager for the mobile iOS team, focusing primarily on Firefox for iOS. Please welcome Jeremy.
Welcome, Jeremy. And coming to us from here in Mountain View, Katie has an introduction. Katie?
Hi, I'm Katie Parlante. I'm the engineering director for data in Firefox, and I'm here to introduce Anna Schultz. Anna was a intern with us this summer. She worked on Mark Reed's team on the data platform, and now she's joining us full time. Welcome, Anna.
Welcome, Anna. Our next introduction via San Diego comes to us from Julie.
Hi, I'm excited to introduce the newest member of the Firefox PMO. His name is Julien Soupitre, and he is a senior engineering program manager working in the Vancouver area. Initially, we'll have Julien working on providing program management support for the sync and account integrations team, as well as the services engineering team. So welcome, Julien.
Welcome. And our final introduction comes to us today from Alicia. Alicia?
Great. Hi, everybody. I'd like to introduce to you Neka Soyenka, who is joining us from Cisco. She'll be working on the trust and security team on the privacy side. You'll see her doing CASA reviews. You're going to see her handling data subject access requests and privacy training, just to mention a few things she'll hit the ground running with. She is based in Chicago, and we're super happy to have her here. So welcome to Neka.
Welcome, Neka. And welcome to all of our new Mozillians joining us at the beginning of this year. Hope you have a great week. We'll see you the same time, same place, next Monday at 11 a.m. Pacific time. Until then, keep on rocking the free web.